Nick, long time coming for a lot of people, mate. How's it feeling? Is there nerves? Is it what you remember from pre-tournament in the past?
Yeah, look, it's just it's good to be back. I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously a little bit. I don't know if I'll call it nervous. More just, I guess. I mean, today when I was hitting on stadium and playing another guy that's in the draw that's also had a couple injuries. I guess we just reflected on I mean, I look where I was at 18 months ago, and I had the surgery. It's been about 16 months, and I honestly never thought I'd be back playing at this level, and even just entering an event like this, preparing and doing all the right things. But it was just surreal to be back out there, and I took it all in. And yeah, I'm really excited to just go out there and just play tennis. And I saw Novak in the gym and playing doubles with him. There's a lot to be excited about that I'm just able to get out there and compete again.
Tell us about that decision to play doubles with Novak.
Well, he kept messaging me over and over again, and then I was just like I'll give him a little handout and give him the pleasure of playing doubles with me. But no, it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, look, kid from Canberra gets to play with the greatest of all time in his hometown in front of the fans is pretty special, and it's something that I'm able to tell people when it's all said and done that I played doubles with him is pretty special.
Who were you hitting with?
Riley Opelka today.
And how'd you feel? How's the wrist?
Yeah, it felt good. It was definitely a step up, returning that serve from the practice court, but it was good to go right in the heat of the pace of the ATP Tour. He's got one of the biggest serves, so to test my wrist out against that, obviously I played Perricard, which is arguably probably the biggest serve on tour. So it was good preparation. I actually booked Riley a week ago, not knowing the draw at all, and then I came out today. So really good preparation. But yeah, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just thinking about waking up, doing the right things for my wrist, my body, and then just trying to get back on the court and just stack the days together.
Everyone's obviously wondering what level you'll be able to get to, and the serve's a big part of that. I think that was when you've been trying to get back and rallying. But where's the serve at? Where are you hoping to get it to? Can it get back to being one of the best on tour?
Look, I think I've seen athletes, not necessarily tennis athletes. Tennis athletes, NBA players. They have horrible surgeries and they have bad injuries and they come back, and everyone expects them to be back to the way they were when they were in their prime. I would love to be able to go out there and play the way I played in 2022 and compete for Grand Slams, and I still believe I can. Whether or not that's factual or not, there was another player who was like, oh, you have to be realistic, and that's just not how I am. I always back my ability. I always go out there believing I can win. So I still feel like I can produce a level that's pretty high. I think when people are, especially against Perricard as well, I could play like Roger and still lose, and I could play the worst match of my life and still lose. That's the type of player he is. He takes the racket out of your hand. So I think I'm playing pretty good, and I think I'm still able to, play well. But to expect to be the exact same after such a, it's career-ending injury, really. And tennis players never had this injury before, never come back. So we'll see how it goes.
Nick, has your relationship with tennis changed in your time away and now coming back and being part of a tournament again?
It's always been I guess most tennis players say it's like a love-hate relationship. You go through hating it months and then you go through loving it. But I guess for me, it was not even a tennis thing. It was just like my everyday living was affected from this injury. I couldn't carry groceries. I couldn't turn a doorknob. So it was like to the point where tennis was like, if I'm able to play tennis again, it's just a bonus. Like wasn't. I don't look at it any differently. I'm just not going to take anything for granted. I'm going to go out there and play, and I don't know how. It's going to be literally a day-by-day symptomatic injury moving forward. If I play a long match or I jam it the wrong way, who knows how it's going to pull up the next day. That's just the type of injury it is. So, but I think I enjoy still being around tennis, because if I didn't, I obviously commentate, and I'm going to be commentating for a long time, but I didn't have to put myself back in this position of the preparation, the training, the competing, the dealing with all the media scrutiny, like going out there, putting myself basically in the pressure cooker again. I didn't have to do that, but I still think I enjoy parts of the sport, so that's why I tried to go through that process, the hard process of getting back.
You've been outspoken about Jannik Sinner and that whole situation. Can you talk about what the motives are behind that? Like, is it a bit of fun? Is it about making a statement about drugs in tennis? Is it a bit of both? Tell us about that.
First of all, someone like me who I would never, even in my entire life, ever try and dope in this sport. You know, this is something that, I mean, especially going through an injury like I went through, and obviously there are things out there that could speed up healing, help me get back to prime level, you know, help my recovery. There's so many things out there that are prohibited in our sport that I could have been doing to get me back quicker. You know, 2 years out of the sport in my prime, basically I was 28, competing for Wimbledon, US Open, and I had an injury where I could have been doing things to get back, but that's just not who I am. And I'm always against that. So for me, when people are saying that I'm disrespectful to the sport, I think someone like that has tried to cheat the process and actually not, you know, done it completely on their own merit is the disrespectful one, in my opinion. But that's, yeah, I mean, I have to be outspoken about it because I don't think there's enough people that are speaking about it. I think people are trying to sweep it under the rug and saying that, you know, about the amount and all this. It's just like, it's not nothing about that. It's like, there's not fair treatment for every single player. I mean, we've seen that with Max Purcell. And the reason that's different is because he went to the authorities first. He admitted that he had done something, you know, that was on the prohibited list, and he was outspoken about it. That's how it should be, rather than all this sweeping under the rug and not knowing and there's question marks. Okay, he's number one in the world and he's an amazing tennis player. I've never said he's not. And I just think the treatment has to be fair for everyone. And I just think that it's been handled horrifically in our sport, and 2 world number ones both getting done for doping is disgusting for our sport. It's a horrible look. And yeah, the tennis integrity right now, and everyone knows it, but no one wants to speak about it. It's awful. Like, it's actually awful. And it's not okay. So I know that people don't like when I just speak out about things and be honest about things, but for someone, a kid that grew up playing tennis, and I enjoyed the competition, I enjoyed playing, you know, I can get emotional, I can throw a racket, but that's nothing compared to cheating and taking performance-enhancing drugs. That's ridiculous, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm not going to shut up about it anyway. Like, yeah. Sorry, I probably went a bit too long, but that's just my honest thoughts.
You are very confident, though, that you believe he has done something wrong. Like, when you say he's tried to cheat,
well,
like, are you certain he has done that?
Well, I mean, so your question is, do I think that he failed 2 steroid drug tests? Which factually happened. He did fail 2 doping tests at separate times as well. It wasn't one after the other. They were a different time frame. So, I mean, if you think that that's the way that it got in his system, if that's how you think it's happened, then, but, I mean, if he didn't do anything wrong, then why did they take his prize money and points away? Obviously, they found something wrong with it, and then obviously White appealed it because of all this. Like, I mean, I employ my team hundreds and thousands of dollars to be the professional they are to make sure that doesn't happen. So they knew it happened, then why did they wait 5 to 6 months to do anything about it? He kept his team for 5 months. Do you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, if they knew about it 2 weeks after, then why did you keep the same team? I'd be livid if my physiotherapist contaminated me and put me in this position. I'd probably never talk to the guy again. But he had the guy in his team for 5 months acting like nothing happened. That's sus as anything, if you ask me. Yeah.
Nick, just on Novak, do you think the timing, you coming back to tennis, you playing with Novak, spending time with him this week, picking his brain a bit?
I don't pick his brain.
But what's that going to do for you, do you think, as far as your tennis goes, having that experience with him here?
I mean, you're acting like I'm not a decent tennis player. Like, I've beaten the guy twice. Let's just, like, you know, he's an amazing player, the greatest to ever play the court, but I wouldn't say I'm going out there and like, oh my God, Novak, like, you're the best, like, please give me advice. No, I'm not like that. I'm just going to go out there, have some fun. And I think I actually help him more because he's got to the point of his career where he wants to obviously have a bit of fun. Like, you don't get to a position like that and you don't get to have a career like that without serious discipline day in, day out. And I think now he's starting to have a bit of fun, obviously employing Andy Murray as his coach. Like, he's looking for a change. He's playing doubles with arguably the most controversial tennis player. So he's obviously, I think, to the point where he just wants to, you know, have something fresh and have a bit of fun and remember that he can reward himself at the end of the day. And it doesn't always have to be super, like, you know, really straightforward and not fun at all. So I don't know. I don't know how it's going to be. Look, we might get absolutely snipped. We've never played doubles before. We might not win. Like, I feel like everyone thinks we're just going to mesh. We'll see how. It's two completely different personalities. So we'll see how it goes.
And the Australian Open, Nick, obviously you played Novak in Wimbledon, you went so close, but the Australian Open, how big would that be for you to win that, for you personally?
Mate, I don't even want to, I don't even think I haven't even thought about the Australian Open once, honestly. With the way my body is and the way my wrist is, if I don't take a day-by-day process, I won't be able to play. Like, this week, I have to concentrate and be diligent with everything in my recovery. I can't think about the Australian Open right now.
Just on that then, I mean, we've obviously seen you throughout your career, you've played with this such bravado, etc. Has this sort of been, I don't know if humbling is the right word, but the experience of sort of the limits with the wrist as well, and sort of having to, you kind of partially putting limits on yourself and your expectations, has that been tough for you?
I think the media is to blame for me playing with such bravado. I've just played the same way since I was a junior and how I am now. I've played the same way, and I guess they kind of created, like, every time he steps out on the court, there's something could go. Where I've played years and years of tennis in my life, and I've played normal matches. But yeah, I mean, I don't really think it's been humbling. I actually think I'm probably one of the most humble tennis players. I've never taken myself too seriously, and I know at the end of the day I'm just hitting a ball over the net, to be honest. So I guess it's just made me, understand that, I'm not young anymore for sure on the tour. They got these young guys like Rune, Sinner, Alcaraz. Like, these guys are freaks of nature, and I know I'm not in that position anymore. But yeah, I'm just enjoying the ride. This is definitely the later stages of my career, so it's going to be just trying to enjoy it all.
Thanks, guys.
Easy.